Over the next couple of videos, we're going to look at some specific examples of some of the kind of sounds we can make with FM8. And the first of these sound examples that I want to show you is a kind of Boards of Canadaesque synth pad. I really like those kind of warm, analog, nostalgic, detuned kind of pad sounds, and I think they're really good in a particularly sort of chilled out genre of dance music. So this is the sound we're going to make today. Cool, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this channel and I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to mute the original one, and in FM8 I'm going to select new sound so we can start from scratch. Okay, so we're going to be using 4 operators in this, C, D, E and F. So the first thing we're going to do is turn on C, D and E. I'm also going to turn on operator Z, which is of course our filter, because we're going to be using that. And I'm going to double click here to delete this routing, and I'm going to route F into Z and Z to the output. Now I'm going to route E into F by almost the full amount. I'm going to put it about 95, something like that. But I'm going to change E's ratio. I'm actually going to give it a ratio of 0 and then increase the offset hertz by 0.1. So this means that our operator E is going to be oscillating very slowly. So actually, rather than modulating F's frequency in an audible way, it's just going to be kind of subtly detuning it to give it that kind of old, analog, slightly out of tune kind of feel. I'm also going to feed F back on itself by about 40, 45, something like that. This makes it a bit more like a sawtooth wave. So this is what we got so far. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to route D into operator Z, and I'm going to route C into D to the value of about 60. I'm also going to feed C back on itself to about 40. At the moment it's got a nice kind of soft organy sort of feel. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to look at our envelopes, and I'm going to link the envelopes of operators F, E, D and C. And because this is a pad, I'm going to drag out the release a bit so there's a bit of a long release when we take our fingers off the note. Now I'm going to unlink E and C, but I'm going to keep F and D linked because I want F and D to have a nice warm attack on them. Change that curve. Okay, now we're going to head over to the modulation matrix because I want to use our mod wheel to open up the filter cutoff. So I'm going to route mod to operator Z. I'm also going to turn down this routing so that it's more subtle, but I'm not going to get rid of it completely. And I'm also going to turn the rate of LFO1 down. So as we open up the filter with our modulation wheel, we're also intensifying the detuning because of this LFO routing to the pitch. Next, I'm going to head over to the master page. I'm going to change the number of voices to 2, and I'll turn that down slightly. And I'm going to turn the analog quality up quite a bit, so there's a bit of kind of random analog detuning. I'm also going to put the polyphony up as high as it will go, just so that notes aren't cutting themselves out. Finally, I'm just going to add some effects to the sound. I'm going to add a bit of subtle reverb, just turn that dry wet down a bit. a bit of chorus as well, and a bit of side delay. I'm going to sync it and turn the time down a bit. Cool, and there we have it. On the MIDI information that I copied across, I had already programmed some mod wheel stuff. So you'll see that that opens up and closes down again as we go through the song. Got a very simple bass line underneath, just because I sort of felt like it needed something underneath there. That's pretty straightforward. I'll show you how to do that quickly. If I duplicate that track and mute the original, and on FM8 I'm just going to go new sound. Cool, so we're just going to be using 3 operators, D, E and F. And I'm just going to quickly go over to our envelopes and link those 3 envelopes, because first of all I just want to give them a bit of an attack and a release, just so that the operators aren't so clicky. Okay, so I'm going to set E's ratio to 0.5, so it's an octave below the fundamental frequency, and I'm going to route it into F by 85. And on E's envelope, I'm just going to pull this decay down. Next, I'm going to connect D to the output. And I'm going to give D a ratio of 0.5 also. D is just going to be there to provide some sine wave sub-frequencies. I'm also going to feed E back on itself by about 18. That'll do. Cool, next I'm going to go on the master page. I'm going to change the number of voices to 5 and maybe pull the volume down a bit. Leave the detune where it is. I'm going to turn the analog up to about halfway. And finally, I'm going to give it a bit of overdrive. I'm going to turn up the drive a little bit, and I'm going to turn up the tone and bass as well. Maybe turn the drive down a little bit. Cool. So that's our bass line. Cool, well I hope you enjoyed that, I hope it was helpful to you. In the next video, we're going to use FM8 to synthesize some drum sounds, so I'll see you in a bit.